Today I have got 4 important updates for you. We've got changes to Princess Easy Air. We're going to talk about the Port of Tampa and some exciting news for cruises that will be departing from those cruise ports there in Florida. We're going to talk a little bit more and some useful information for you about the announcement by Greece that they are going to be limiting cruise passengers to ports in Santorini, and then close behind it will be Mykonos. And then finally, if you have got a back-to-back or a back-to-back-to-back booked on Princess Cruises, this is really important information for you. So let's go ahead and get started. Hi there, this is Allison with Let's Go Travel Tips. Today is Monday. It is June 24th of 2024. I'm really excited to be back here at headquarters again. We had an absolutely spectacular cruise on the Regal Princess, visiting the British Isles. We enjoyed traveling before and after that cruise, so you're going to be hearing a lot from me in the coming days with some tips, some things that we learned about going on British Isles cruises, about the Regal Princess itself. Lots to talk about here. But today I wanted to start with some really important topics for you so that you stay up to date with what I think you really need to know. We are going to do our live this evening. We usually do it on Monday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and we are surely going to do that. So bring your questions about that Princess Loyalty Accelerator promo they're currently running, about anything else on your mind, and we'll answer your questions, talk over our cruise experience and yours, and have a fun time together. So I'll see you then. Now let's start at the very top with Princess Easy Air. If you have been following me for long, there are things I really like about Princess Easy Air and things I really don't. The update I've got for you today is historically, when you made your Princess Easy Air flight arrangements, you could go ahead and book out virtually as far out as you wanted to. You know, if you wanted to go a couple of weeks before a cruise or stay a couple of weeks after a cruise, you had that liberty to choose those dates and book your Princess Easy Air ticket doing that. I'm very grateful to a Let's Go family member who really likes to usually book a couple of weeks out, who went to do that and can no longer do that. And I went into one of our cruises, looked at trying to book very far out at all on either end of the cruise, and sure enough, it looks like 5 days is the limit. You could book your Easy Air flights before your cruise up to 5 days before your cruise sails and no more. So if you want to go in, like I said, a couple of weeks early or a full week early, or stay a full week or a couple of weeks afterwards, you aren't going to be able to do that anymore with Princess Easy Air. You're going to just have to book your own flights. The interesting thing is, I know people have things they like and don't like about Princess Easy Air as well. Sometimes the ticket prices are much lower through Princess Easy Air. Sometimes they're the same as you can get booking directly through the airline, and sometimes they're more. And so I think depending on whether or not you want to use Princess Easy Air, you might want to take a look at what they offer. But the hard part will come is if you want to stay longer or go way earlier to your cruise. So keep all of that in mind. And a big thank you to the Let's Go family member that sent me an email on that. The next thing that I think is super important for you to know is what's going on with a cruise port there in Tampa, Florida. So if you're someone that has never sailed out of Tampa before, Tampa is a cruise port. It is not as widely used as the ones, for example, like in Miami and Fort Lauderdale, Port Everglades. That would be Fort Lauderdale. Port Canaveral is the other one I was thinking of, and then you've got some ships that sail out of Jacksonville. There are so many options when you're sailing out of Florida there. Well, Tampa is looking at building their 4th cruise terminal. They have not voted completely to okay the whole project and the expense that it will be, but they have actually okayed the designs that have been presented. So it looks like people in the industry feel like that this is going to be voted on and it will move forward. They already have 3 cruise terminals there in Tampa, and they are looking to build the 4th terminal and expand on what they have already got without interrupting cruises that are already scheduled to go from there. So we'll keep an eye on that. But I wanted to let you know that the capacity will be expanding there. In the cruise port from Tampa, you have got Royal Caribbean, Celebrity, Norwegian, and Carnival are the cruise lines that currently sail out of there. And truly, Royal Caribbean Caribbean, and it looks to me like Carnival are the cruise lines that have the most ships going out of there year-round when you really kind of look at all the different sailings. So if you're looking to go out of Tampa, those are the 4 cruise lines that you would want to look at first. There are hotels right there. They've got parking there at the cruise terminal. So if that's the closest cruise port for you, I think it's a really good option. So take a look and see what you think. Now, on to the next topic here. Before we get there, though, I would like to invite you to please subscribe to our channel. If you appreciate staying up to date with what we're doing as far as traveling to cruise, going on a cruise, everything that would really affect your experience on a cruise, go ahead and subscribe. I'd love to have you with us. And if you appreciate my updates, will you please give this video a thumbs up? Thank you so very much. Now, next we are going to talk about Greece. I let you know while we were on our cruise that the Prime Minister of Greece has announced that they are intending to limit the number of cruise passengers who come ashore in Santorini, and then right behind in the number that they are going to limit will be to Mykonos. If you have ever been to those islands in the summertime, during peak cruise season, you will note that it is really busy. It can be very busy. And so I can see why they're looking to limit that a little bit. Now, the president and CEO of Celestial Cruises, which is a cruise line that only sails there in Greece, they sail smaller ships. I really appreciate an interview that I came across that with him that is being reported on. And a couple of things really stood out to me that I think are really valuable. One of them is that he said that as they look to limit the number of cruise ships, they are also, and if you're not aware of this, when you go to visit the Acropolis during peak season, they are going to have timed visits. The reason I know that is more of a hassle to people who are wanting to visit the Acropolis, but also I think that in the long run this is going to be a really good change that they have made, because when you have your cruise ship passengers there, you're in peak season, so you've got all the people who are not associated with a cruise ship as well, going up those big steps up to the Acropolis and then being on top. It can be unbelievably crowded. In the long run, that's going to affect your experience while you're there on top of the Acropolis. When it is just wall-to-wall people, it is much harder to stand back, realize where you're standing, and soak it all up. It also really limits. There's not a lot of seating available up there on top of the Acropolis, but what seating is available is quickly taken up. The other thing that I think of is just, like I said, your whole experience, as well as trying to get your picture with anything. I know that sounds funny, but just your overall experience. And so this is part, the limiting there of the number of guests on the Acropolis, kind of timing those entries is part of what they're trying to do. So then when you look at what they're doing with Santorini, it makes perfect sense that they're going to have an enhanced berth request system that they are going to do to berth the ships. If you've not been there before, the ship's anchored there, right there in the caldera at Santorini. They are going to schedule the arrival times at some of the more popular landmarks there in Santorini and Mykonos. And overall, I think this will be good. I thought it was really interesting when you look at the ships that are calling there the most times in 2024. It is the Norwegian Epic and the Royal Caribbean's, their Odyssey of the Seas, and both of them have 4,200 guests on board. So I would think, and it's going to be interesting to see how this all pans out, but in my way of thinking, those are some of the ships that might be ended up limiting a little bit more if it's going to cost a lot more to bring passengers on some of those busier days, if we will see some of those smaller cruise ships replacing those really large cruise ships at as far as what calls there the most. So I'll keep you up to date as I notice things happening. So I guess I just wanted to let you know how everything is shaping up as a little bit more news comes out from Greece. Alrighty, let's talk about the back-to-back cruises on Princess, or if you are fortunate enough to have a back-to-back-to-back. Those back-to-back cruises are the kind of cruises that when you go on the cruise, you end on one day, you come into port there, and then you are scheduled to go on the very next cruise. Generally, they'll have you get off the ship. It depends on what port you are in, what they are going to require of you. But the thing I want to talk to you about today is the app. We have known for a while here, and I've talked with you about it, that trying to use the app for everything you want to use it for before the cruise, especially those dining reservations, doesn't work right. It will pull the information from one cruise, but you can't make dining reservations on the other cruise or other cruises, depending on how many you've got booked. Well, a Let's Go family member who has recently completed one of these has let me know that when you get on board the ship, go directly to guest services and ask for help, because not only before you go on that cruise can you not make your dining reservations as you would hope for all the cruises, it is also affecting your ability to use the app to look at your folio for the cruise that you're on. It will pull information from the last cruise that you're going to be on in that set of cruises, but it doesn't let you use it for the cruise that you're on. So apparently they download another app onto your phone that makes it so that it will work for you to be able to use the app to use your folio, see your charges, do everything that you want to do for the cruise that you're actually on. So I thought this might be valuable for those of you that have got those cruises booked. Now, if you have 2 Princess cruises booked and they're a few days apart, you're going to be fine. It is just the ones that are booked like a true back-to-back. So let me know if any of you have experienced this lately, how it went for you. But if you don't know to go to guest services right away and get help with that, go ahead and do that, and then bring us up to date about how everything is working with your app. I'm still really looking forward to the July 1st that Princess has announced as the day you're going to be able to make your dining reservations for all those cruises that sail September 14th and later. We were supposed to do that June 17th. It got extended to July 1st. And so I'm really hoping that there's some other updates with the app as well that make things work just a little bit better. But I guess we'll all wait and see together. So I really appreciate you joining me here today. I look forward to seeing you this evening, and I'll see you here again tomorrow. I'll be talking to you all again really soon. You all take really good care. God bless you. Love you. Bye-bye.